What's great about these, though, is I already own all of them on Audible. So, and I'm already like all the way through. I have been so excited.
I may have already read Throne of Glass.
Awesome. Why would you tell me that?
I read it
right now.
I read it at Great Wolf Lodge.
Why would you tell me that right this second? Okay. I don't want to. Rachel! I want to talk about it.
So we don't have to talk about it this time.
No, we'll talk about it next week.
Yeah.
No, we're going to do Murderbot.
Yeah.
We got to finish Murderbot.
No, of course we're going to finish Murderbot.
Yeah, and then...
I
okay.
was like, okay, well, I've read Murderbot. Maybe I'll just start Throne of Glass.
Yeah.
And then I read Throne of Glass.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was good.
Okay, cool. That's it. Don't tell me anymore.
Okay.
Do you have some ACOTAR news, the TV show? And so, do you know who Dumois is?
No.
She's like the serial of the real world.
Okay.
She is the person, I think she started on Instagram. People send her like celebrity sightings. She kind of filters through them, and she's pretty accurate about a lot of the rumor mill. Mm-hmm. So she heard this past week that there is some turbulence in the writing room for the ACOTAR show, which is supposed to be on Hulu. The showrunner, Sarah J. Maas, is having a really hard time working with the team or throwing fits or a tantrum or something like that, which, okay.
Maybe she's a lot like her main characters.
Oh my God, of course she is. Like, have Aylin Bryce or Farrah or even Nesta. Yeah. Okay, guys, have a good time with that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Exactly. She's probably pretty hot-headed.
Right.
But I don't care. You defend your show. It's your show. You
Yeah.
know what's true for these characters. I do imagine that being a solo author and going on to a team of writers for a TV show would probably there'd be some transition.
Difficulties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Transition period, but she's probably a lot like her main character.
Yeah. I can just it's Nesta in the showrunners. Like, no, we're not doing that. And you're all stupid. Just want to leave right there.
Yeah. You don't know. Yeah. And
Yeah.
you're all dumb. Right. And really, oh my God, I love that you said that. And anyway, so also they are talking about budget cuts for this show. And there's a third thing. We haven't done any casting yet, but the first 4 episodes have been written.
Okay.
And then there's one more little tidbit of information. The budget cuts. Anyways, if I think about it, I'll bring it up. But I think that they're going to make it suck. A lot of the discourse online and people, from what I'm hearing is, you can't make a fantasy show without a budget.
Well, I can kind of see that because we were getting to a point where it was getting ridiculous. Like, didn't Amazon pay something like $1 billion
for the
rights?
Lord of the Rings? Yeah.
And so at a certain point, you can't. You're priced out of making. So it's almost good if we have a show that sets a precedent for creating a good, well-written, well-cast, well-put-together show on
I remember what it was.
On a smaller budget.
Right.
Because then this gives us the opportunity to get content from smaller locations.
Right. But here's the big thing. Hulu's owned by Disney, so there's a lot of talk about them whitewashing the show and creating a family show or like a teen drama, and that is not going to work for the fandom.
Right.
It's not. And so I think a lot of the discourse has been, I would personally love to see this on like Stars or Showtime or Cinemax.
Something with a little bit more, or the people that did Interview with a Vampire.
That's AMC.
Yeah, AMC.
AMC could kill it.
Yeah.
But even then...
This isn't a Disney show. I mean, this isn't a Disney
No, but
book.
even then with AMC, there's some limit to how... to Chapter 55.
We're just gonna, Chapter 55.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so...
Spice.
So, I don't know. I think that... I mean, the showrunner from Outlander, have you read that or watched that at all?
I read the first 2 books.
So that one, that's a great parallel. It's a female author, some elements of magic and fantasy in it, also a lot of spice, and it's done really well, and that's a wonderful show.
Yeah.
It's a great show. So I think that's probably the show that I think has the most similar audience. So it needs to be a little bit more niche. A lot of people are like, we need to put it on HBO. HBO doesn't do that kind of niche stuff. They make it really, honestly, I don't even know how to bring it up, but like it's too female centered, like the audience
For HBO. Yeah.
Like they'll make a man show any day.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, they took most of the magic out. When we've talked about this before, highlighted the politics, the sex, the incest, the grungy stuff.
Yeah.
And then, the magic was like sprinkled in. But I know, I just don't think HBO would ever tackle it, even though it deserves to be tackled.
They haven't done a good female-centered show since True Blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Unless you're talking about like Sex and the City, but that's like far.
I'm talking fantasy. Fantasy and sci-fi, which is traditionally a male-centered genre.
Right. Oh, I forgot about True Blood. That's a good call. Sorry, HBO. I forgot about True Blood.
Yeah. I mean, that was good, but that was like televised HBO, like pre-streaming HBO.
Yeah.
Like we can finally show tits on television show.
Right.
HBO.
Well, HBO's never shied away from. Oh, maybe a little bit.
Yeah. They did for the stuff like they had to censor somewhat. That's why True Blood, especially the first couple of seasons, are pretty spicy because it was our like, we finally got permission to go like full frontal nudity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then Netflix has that show Sex Life. Have you seen that?
I have.
Yeah. Okay. You know.
Yes.
You know. I know you know. I see it in your face.
Leah made me watch that one scene. She was like,
she's like, what you think about this?
She's like, okay, hang on, hold, just hear me out. It's like, okay, whatever. Mom was there. She was like, I think you'd feel that thing on your back teeth.
Your mother said that?
Yes.
Oh my God. She needs to be on the podcast. In your back teeth. I felt it dingling and on my tonsils. That's hilarious. But like, that's an example. I feel like we need that level of intimacy with great writing. And, I think something else, I was thinking, what else could the writer's room be really like, could she be coming up against? And, the big twist is that our love interest from the first book, spoiler alert, turn it off if you haven't read Akatar. Our love interest from the first book is not our love interest.
Right. So how are we gonna do that?
Right. And I would be like, you fight for that, Sarah. You fight for that, because that is like, I loved that part, is that we get this twist and this turn.
Yeah.
So
it's
see.
Unexpected. It's nice.
Yeah, it's
not
great.
Nice in that I'm happy for Feyre because she's betrayed, but nice in that we got like a
that she has to deal with Tamlin for a whole season. Yeah,
it wasn't the direction I thought we were going to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So I don't know. I hope she's fighting for it. I kind of like to hear that there's some turmoil, but also that we get an update.
What was the other thing you remembered?
Oh, it was the smut factor that Disney, like, because Disney owns Hulu, there has been some talk about like what's allowed on these networks and streaming. And I'm sure there's people with more knowledge about it, but like Hulu and Prime seem to be in the same boat as to what their rating systems and what they'll put on their streaming networks. And then you've got like, ABC, NBC, CBS, your big networks, and they can only do such and such. And then you've got your HBOs, Cinemax, Showtime, Stars. But with everything streaming these days, why is there a line?
Yeah, it's not. It's just don't put this in kid profiles. And
that is really easy to do.
Yeah.
So, okay, then Hulu. You don't have to,
Hulu, take note. We want every single moment of spice from these books. In fact, if you could add a little to the first one,
you could add more. I said that PG-13. The first book's PG-13, but there's a lot of dark dark themes in the book.
And the problem would be season 1 is a little bit tame. Season 2 would be maybe a little bit more. But then if we get like a Nesta season 3,
no.
It's going to be like
Silver Flames would be season like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And that's what I
it's
said.
going to be like, look, you guys started this when you were 14. You're really fucking lucky you're 18 now because here we fucking go. Yeah.
Well, and I was saying, like, that's okay. So I had a TikTok go viral, which is micro viral, meaning that 168 strangers on the internet liked my shit. And, and that's what I was saying. I was like, I see, like, if we're planning for a future, A Court of Thorns and Roses and A Court of Silver Flames are very, very different books. And I love A Court of Silver Flames the most. Do not fuck with Nesta and Cassian. They deserve better. One woman commented, I was like, Farrah and Rhysand deserve better. Elaine deserves better. And her comment was, I was with you until you said Elaine deserved better. And I was like, oh, yeah, I heard. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's entitled.
I get it.
Yeah. But anyway, so that's the ACOTAR update. And then after Murderbot, the following, we're going to be doing a Throne of Glass read-through. There might be a couple weeks off because we've got some cool books coming out in March. But I'm so excited. Murderbot. Our last Murderbot.
Yeah.
Until the next one comes out.
Next one comes out in November.
This one's a little bit shorter.
It is. And it doesn't have a clear place in the timeline.
It doesn't.
I would put it before he goes to the planet and rescues Art. If I had to put this anywhere, it'd be right before the novel. Because we're preoccupied with Grey Chris. And by the time we get to the novel, we don't even discuss Grey Chris.
That's true.
And I think it's really just like a rest break for us. So this is Murderbot Fugitive Telemetry.
Yep.
And it's the most recently published book. So it's the last in what is currently out for the Murderbot series. And we just came off the novel, which the novel was wild and full and a lot and wonderful, but a lot to digest. And so I think we needed like a whodunit. We needed a quick, sweet moment with Murderbot, where Murderbot is figuring out how to interact with these people that know it's a sec unit and it wants to help, but it doesn't actually know how to be in a team doing something.
Yeah. And I thought this was a story. I was actually I waited till the last minute to read it. I'm really grateful that it was only 4 hours. It was just like a quick, like you said, just like, it was almost like they're kind of like all one shots, but we got a couple new characters. We got a little bit more into the way that people who are on preservation, who aren't Menza, and what's our attorney's name? Pinley. Like, all of our people, we're kind of seeing him interact with these other people who are so
distrustful.
Yeah,
they're unsure of where to put it. Because,
and they don't trust him, definitely.
Right.
Well, you said that, sorry.
Yeah, because
they're very resistant to him.
It's not a robot. It's not a person. I mean, it's a person, but it's not a physical human being. And it's not a robot. And it doesn't have a clear category. And so it's very difficult to know
and everybody thinks
where to put it.
That their default... Everybody seems to think that their default... God, I don't have words today. I think I've been eating too much junk food. My brain doesn't work. I cannot compute. Their default setting is murder.
Yeah.
Is to kill.
Yeah.
Is to, when in actuality, what we've learned from knowing Murderbot for so long is that he's actually a pretty good dude.
Yeah. I think they just see it as a dangerous weapon.
Yep.
This is a weapon.
That's what they were made to do. They're always going to default back to that, go back to that.
Right. And especially on preservation, there aren't weapons. There's not violence. Yeah. There's not murder.
We get more robots in this, and I think that's the cutest part of it. The best part about this book are all of the robots, and our big bad ends up being a robot.
Yeah.
And I think that's like him interacting throughout all the stories, him interacting with other robots is the best part of the books.
because it automatically has like a rapport with every bot that it encounters, whether it's a software bot, a physical bot, whatever.
Bot, comfort unit.
Except for comfort units. No, fuck comfort units.
Yeah, which he needs to do some work. He needs to unpack that, but it's fine.
Yeah. Maybe we'll unpack that in November.
Yeah.
When the next one comes out.
Yeah.
The cover's been released.
Has it?
Yeah.
I'll take a look at it while you talk. Just kidding, no pressure.
Yeah. So I liked at the very beginning, if we just want to kind of break it down a little bit in order. So I liked at the beginning when Inda, we're talking with Inda.
Yeah, Inda is a new person.
Yeah, and it's Inda and Mensa and Sec Unit, and they're all having a conversation. And I like how granular Murderbot's interpretation of Mensa's facial expressions are. Because Mensa actually says very little, but Murderbot is constantly interpreting her facial expression. And it's these long sentences of, this is her expression. That means I'm paying attention. But what it really means is you better watch what you're about to say because don't fuck up again.
Yeah.
And it's all this like...
And she has a micro expression and he has learned how to, he can translate it.
Yeah.
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 It's he's like, he says at one point, he goes, she pointed her eyebrow at me.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I had to pause and be like, what does that mean? What does that face look like?
Yeah. And then it actually says, it's not really, but it's difficult to describe. You had to be there to know exactly what I'm talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
The part that really stood out to me was when Inda said she alluded to him not being a person and her face went from pleasant leader to the fuck did you just say?
Yeah.
And without saying anything, the Inda was like, yeah, okay, I didn't mean to. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I made a mistake.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean that.
Yeah. She takes a breath and Mensa says, think about what you're about to say.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Penley's pissed because she let her off. I love that he described Penley as the combat unit.
The combat unit version of
what we have seen as the biggest, baddest type of being. That's who she is as an attorney.
It gives you a sense of his respect
for her.
For his core group of friends. And I like that it is not taken aback and it's not made uncomfortable by their support of it.
Right.
So Mensa's support, Penley's support, even Gwathrin.
Right.
And Rathi.
Yeah. And they're our everyday pals now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. I love that they tricked him into therapy.
Yeah. They're
and he doesn't does he? I don't think he recognizes. He's like, I've talked to her 5 times now.
Yeah. It's for a documentary.
It's for a documentary.
About constructs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, okay, good. Are you going weekly? Because that's great to know.
Yeah. He's like, I've been really able to open up and I wasn't expecting to talk about this, but we did. Yeah. And in my mind, I'm like, y'all straight up tricked him into therapy. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
And it'll make a great documentary, but also that's therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that part. I was like, that's so clever. I'm so happy. We need to do that to everybody.
Yeah, and I love the part where it's talking about how it has so much rapport with the doctor, whose name, how do you say her name?
I don't know. Let me look at it. I have to look at it to say it.
I know
Dr. B.
Dr. B. I know what it looks like, but I've never heard it out loud. So I don't know.
I've only ever read it.
I've
only ever read it.
She's only ever really in the first one.
Yeah, and I love that
after that.
I love that there's one part where they're referencing how they're talking about how she wouldn't have believed he was a person until he saved her from getting eaten.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Is that part where she's like,
I think I highlighted it actually.
We have a rapport because you kept me from getting chewed on by alien fauna. And she's like, we just got to figure out a way to get everybody else to realize you're a person without having to go through the same experience.
Right.
And he's like, that's not exactly what she said, but that's what she meant.
Yep. So funny. Sorry, I got distracted.
I know you're looking for her name.
Yeah. I think what? Dr. B.
Dr. B. And I like that this is really kind of Murderbot's slice of life. This is Murderbot arriving at the station, doesn't want to go to the planet, so it's got to make its home on this station. And it has to figure out what its role is on this station. And it doesn't want to just sit around and watch media all day. I mean, it kind of wants to, but it realizes that it needs to do other stuff too. Because that'll get boring after a while.
At the end of it, he actually talks about how he could probably be like some sort of like espionage spy, but like he doesn't want to do that because he wouldn't get enough media time.
Yeah.
Which hurt, I understand that.
It's like, I could be way more than I am right now, but then I'd have to give up media, and I'm not willing to do that.
Yep. I don't know why. I wish it would go to this.
But we talk a lot about, I like at the very beginning when we're really discussing, like with Inda, how they want it to be on the station, because it's technically Mensa's bot, kind of.
Right.
But they're trying to get it a new classification so that it's not actually owned by anybody. It doesn't have a caretaker. It doesn't have a whatever. It is actually free. Although I like how every time it refers to free bots, it puts quotations around free. Yeah. It was a free bot.
Right. With bunny ears.
Yeah. Free bot. And Inda is insistent that it have a feed tag.
She's like, and I genuinely believe like she just wants to give it a name.
Yeah.
But Murderbot goes really deep. Like, oh, what? Why?
So this is an exact recreation of me every time I have to make a login on a website that I don't want to make a login on. I'm like, you don't need my name. You don't need my phone number. You don't need my email address. You don't need any of this information.
They're just trying to keep data on you.
I know. Well, I don't like it for the same reason that Murderbot doesn't like it, which is like, I don't want everybody to just know who I am. I want to be able to pick and choose who knows me.
Right.
And who knows what I am.
Yeah, and he's not going to tell him Murderbot. Why doesn't he just call himself Ren? I like Ren.
I know. I think it's because it doesn't feel like its name.
Yeah.
Because it has a name. And so when it's Ren, it is impersonating someone. And it doesn't want to impersonate someone. It just wants to be itself.
Well, Sec Unit works then.
Yeah. And it can't, its name is private. It's kind of like Cats in the Cats, the musical, where they have 3 separate names. And they have the name that only the cat knows and never will tell. And then they have the name that they are with other cats. And then they have the human name that everybody calls them. So it has Murderbot, which is its secret name that it never tells anybody.
Itself.
That's the only thing it calls itself. And then it has its name with its friends, which is Sec Unit. And then it has its like, this is my street name. That it's not my real name. It's just what other people call me. And that's kind of like Ren. So it's like, I don't want to be Ren. I want to be me.
I don't think I knew that about Cats. I think I should watch that again.
Have you watched? It's the very beginning when they do the like voiceover.
No, I didn't know. That's wild. I guess I haven't seen it in a long time.
Well, you can just read Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats by T.S. Eliot, which is what it's based on.
Okay, I will do that. I'd prefer that, actually.
You're like,
I'm not watching that movie with you.
Are you going to make me watch a musical?
Oh my God, remember when you talked about us watching that? And I was like,
no. You were like, I gotta raw dog that. I can't do that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I had a bucket list, and I was like an anti-bucket list. Things I will never do.
I'm talking about the stage play, like
sure.
And there was the like 1997 production that they did that I had the VHS of.
Okay,
that was the stage play. Yeah, recorded.
Yeah. Okay, I will read that book in some time between immersing myself in Throne of Glass.
It's a poem book, so it doesn't take that long.
Oh, cool. That's great. I'll just fit it in between. Maybe I'll take it to work with me when I'm in between selling houses, showing houses off.
You could say everything in rhyme.
Yeah. Yeah, so where are we? Take us someplace, Rachel.
Take us someplace? Well, I was talking about Inda's initial stipulations for Sec Unit to stay on the ship. Which is that Sec Unit can't hack the cameras. Yeah. Can't hack any of the security systems.
I know. I was a little frustrated for him. I wanted, well, granted, because we've seen him, we see how productive and protective and how much security he's actually able to offer by controlling and hacking everything.
Yeah.
So it is cool, and I guess some character development to get to see him still be the coolest and most adept person involved without having to do that with like a handicap.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, you guys don't know what's best for you. But that's what he's always saying.
Yeah.
Is that humans don't know what's best for them.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it's not that Inda doesn't like him.
She doesn't trust him.
She doesn't trust him, and she's not sure of its agenda.
Yeah.
Because they're both trying to get to the same thing. But sometimes Murderbot goes a little...
I love that he describes her role as an administrative job. And she's like the FBI.
It's so hateful. It's as judgmental of Inda at the very beginning as it is of comfort units.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
it's
like, your job's like, you're like a secretary.
It's like, this is a nice try, little human security person.
Yeah. I mean, he's not wrong. They don't have a lot of murder in preservation.
Yeah. And I like how it hasn't actually investigated any murder either, because that's not its job. It just alerts people to the murder that's happened. And either it did it and it just has to tell people, or it didn't do it and somebody else has to figure it out.
But it also talks about how in the past it may have had to solve murders, but it doesn't have any memory because they wipe it every time. So.
Yeah. But thankfully, it has watched a lot of murder mysteries. I like to think it listens
and
to
it
a lot
really
of true
leans
crime.
on that.
And I listen to a lot of true crime podcasts. And it's like, I fucking got this.
I mean, I kind of feel like that sometimes. Like in my head, if I ever think about, like, so every time I leave Matt and Rachel's house, I say, I'm going to text you when I get home so you can let the FBI know I made it. Because I'll think about that. Like, I live alone.
Yeah.
So I don't, if something happened to me, how long would it take for somebody to know? But in my mind, because I've watched and listened to so much true crime, somehow I'm not going to get murdered.
Like, I have got this. I am trained.
But I also know that I do light up a room, and I know that that's going to work against me.
Yeah. People are going to be like, that's not true. Be like, no, it really was. Like, it actually was.
Yeah, like... I could see that. Yeah. Anyways, I'm not safe. It's fine.
Basically a detective.
Yeah.
Listen to so much true crime.
Right.
And that's exactly how Murderbot feels. It's like, and I'm like, it asks, have you done a forensic sweep? And then it's like, it waits. And the guy's like, yeah, we did. And he's like, yes.
That's a real thing.
I said the right words.
He goes, and I learned that's the right thing. Yeah, I know. That was really funny. I don't know how you remember all this stuff. Did you not just read it?
Yeah, I just read it.
Like yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay. Like, how do you remember from like 2 weeks ago? It's probably because you read fast and absorb everything.
And I made some notes.
Oh,
That's what I keep looking over at.
Yeah, I should have been making notes. I listened to the whole thing while I was sleeping last night and then had to wake up again and listen again.
So you subconsciously absorbed it all.
Yeah, I'm learning about how that doesn't help me absorb it at all.
And I like that Mensa gave it drones as a gift.
I know.
Yeah.
Like almost like a bribe.
Yeah.
Like little tiny baby drones. Like, and I'm realizing like they're the size of like bugs.
Yeah.
Baby drones. Yeah. Super sweet.
Little intel drones.
Yeah.
And it's like, Mensa's so good. She can get me a present and say fuck you to the security team all at the same time.
Yeah.
I love Mensa.
Yeah.
It's just like, she's the best.
She's really good at like politics.
Yeah. And then Inda didn't want him to have the drones. And that's when Mensa was like, they are an adaptive thing for him because it has a disability and it requires this to completely interact with the world. Like
she puts it, basically gives him a doctor's note.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like it needs this in order to interact with the world.
And this society is so, like advanced and progressive that it's like, what were you going to say?
Yeah.
It was almost like she was going to cancel her.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
Yeah.
About him not being a person?
Right. Yeah.
Are you sure?
Try again.
Yeah. Is that sure?
I want to wait for a moment in my life when someone is about to respond and I'm like, think about what you're about to say. Because you don't want to shovel this shit any deeper than you've already shoveled it.
I love those moments.
Yes.
I love those moments.
She is very good. Martha Wells is very good at creating these very well fleshed out characters where we don't actually interact with Mensa all that often.
No.
And yet Mensa is a very real and very alive presence in the book because she's a real and alive to Murderbot.
Yeah. So it's really cool to see, like, me trying to learn writing and, like, the differences of it going from this book to what we read last week.
Yeah.
And how established. I was thinking about how consistent this world is.
Yeah.
Every book, our characters are the same thing. It's like she steps into the mind of her characters.
Yes.
Versus what last week?
And the things that she thinks through are astounding. Like when they find the body and Murderbot's like, okay, well, but what about the clothes? And they're like, what about the clothes? And he's like, well, if they're recycler made, you can get those clothes anywhere. So they're not as distinctive as you think they are. But, and then he goes through there's two ways to go through a station and not be noticed. You can either fly under the radar.
Or you can make it seem like you're not flying under the radar.
You can look like a tourist. You can do one of the two things.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, if I saw this person, I'd think they were a tourist. But because preservation has a active human-made clothing, they're not allowed to sell recycler clothing on the planet because they're afraid it will devalue the human-made clothing market. And so they don't even think about testing the clothes to see where they're from or anything. And it's really interesting that Martha Wells thinks about something as granular as on preservation. How do they get their clothes? And would the people on this spaceship even think about clothes in the way that Murderbot does? Because all the commodities on preservation, it's like everything's built to last. Everything's generations old. Everything is kept in good repair. They just keep using it.
They don't have hard money. They barter.
Yeah, they barter for everything, but they're also not a growth economy. There's nothing that encourages them to keep upping their GDP.
Yeah.
They're always just...
You know what it is? It's like a perfect commune.
It is. It's like a utopia. This is part of our commentary.
Yeah.
And that's how they decide, okay, so they came from another place. They picked this bright, colorful outfit in order to be look like a tourist.
And what we learn is they're actually refugees. Isn't this guy a refugee?
I don't think this guy is particularly, but he's the liaison.
That's something you're going to have to explain to me because I was not quite sure what was happening.
Yeah. I wasn't sure what was happening. I read the book and it was great, but I don't know what it was about. So.
That's really what I'm saying.
So they find this guy and he's dead. So this is...
No, I got that part.
Yeah,
yeah. Okay, you go through. Yeah.
Lutran. And they're like, okay, Sec Unit, we'll call you if we need you. And Sec Unit's like, they just told me to fuck off.
Yep.
They don't want me there.
Yep.
They don't need me. They don't want me. I'm superfluous. I guess I don't even need to be here. And then it leaves. And it's like, well, they may not need my help. There's certain things I can't do without their permission, but there's certain things that only I can do. So it goes to the major hotel, the port hotel, because they don't have small transient bunks like they do on other space stations because everybody's entitled to a room when they stop at preservation station for free because whatever. And so it pings and it gets a response and it's from a quote free bot. And that's the Talus that it first interacts with. And that's when it has this long tirade about why does it turn its head to look at me? Its eyes aren't on its head. Its eyes are its sensors all over its body. Why do humans always program bots to act like humans? That's ridiculous. Which is just it's
commentary
it's constant commentary on why don't you let bots be bots?
Right.
Why do bots have to be human-ish?
Right.
Except this one has 6 arms and a satellite dish for a head. And it is responsible for maintenance in the hotel, so it can let Murderbot into currently unoccupied rooms, rooms that are rented out, but there's nobody in them. But Murderbot can't touch anything, and it won't let Murderbot in if it thinks it's going to be an invasion of privacy.
At this point, is it a consultant for the station security?
Kind of.
Have they done that thing where it's you're going to pay him money and he's going to help you?
Well, they told him they wanted to work together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I knew that happened.
And they were like, well, we'll call you if we need you. If we need you to consult on something, we'll call you in.
And meanwhile, he's already got a plan on where things should be going.
Yeah, it's there is a possibility that this is a threat to Mensa. And if there wasn't a possibility that there was a threat to Mensa, absolutely, I'll go back to my room and watch The Rise and Fall of Sanctuary Moon for the next 4 hours. I don't give a shit. But because this might endanger Mensa, I'm invested.
Right.
And so it finds Lutran's room.
Right.
Because there's a scarf that's recycler material and it matches the guy's outfit.
Yeah.
And
it's the same print, just different colors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
I got that part.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I understand that. Okay.
So then it's okay, so I know it came in I know the guy came in on a ship. I got to find the ship because they know that the murder happened elsewhere because there's not enough mess where they find the body. Murderbot's like, there's not enough blood and brains and stuff.
Right.
This is not what they normally look like. Trust me, because I've
Yeah.
made a lot of bodies look like this before.
Right.
And it basically pings all of it sits like on a bench. It just closes its eyes and pings all of the transports that are currently docked to try to figure out which one it might have been on. And it finds one that's like scrambled, and it's actually calling for help. This bot is calling for help. This bot pilot is calling for help, but it couldn't actually call anybody. So as soon as it gets pinged, it's like, oh, thank you. So it sends him a garbled message. Like, I literally can't even speak. I've been messed with. And so that's when it gets Gwathrin and Rothy to help it break in. Because it's like, I want witnesses.
He called for backup.
I want witnesses who
Right.
can prove that I didn't do anything I wasn't supposed to do.
Yeah.
It asked me to go in. All I'm doing is going in. And so it goes in, and that's when it finds the murder scene. But they can't figure out, because as soon as like station security arrives, they realize that there's a video of this guy going in, and then there's video of like a gurney coming out with something on it, which was clearly his body. But they don't know who was on the ship or anything. And it turns out through the course of everything that happens that this guy is like aiding in the trafficking of refugees through the station. Because on the outer mining colonies, like the one that he went to at I think it was the second book, where he ended up being a security consultant on that ship, and they were all indentured labor. So indentured servants go out to these mining colonies, and they literally just never let them leave. And so
they're, more or less enslaved.
Yeah, because they have children while they're out there, and those children have grown up, and those children signed no contract and are not being paid. They're literally like, you're trapped here. So, and if you want to eat, you have to work. Mm. And so there's a whole like pipeline of refugees,
of people trying to get out,
of people that they go and they pick them up. And it's not, I mean, it's illegal, not really illegal, because these people didn't sign any contract.
Right.
But they have to be snuck off because they have to keep the corporation from killing them.
Right.
Or from getting them and taking them back.
Yeah.
And so he figures out where they are, and they're in like a cargo module, like an upfitted cargo module. And that's when he has to take the space bag that blorps. And Murderbot's like, oh my God. Like, I'm about to go in this like 200-year-old life buoy or something. It's called like, it's like a bag in space. He's like, great, I'm in a bag in space. And it attaches to the airlock. And that's when he kind of rescues all the people. But it's just it's not as complicated as you think. It's really just like the Underground Railroad. Okay. These people are sneaking people out.
Right.
And the corporation found out about it, and Lutran got killed.
But because the bad guy, the bad robot,
yeah,
was working for the company that owned all these people.
Yeah, it was like a combat unit that had gotten snuck onto Preservation Station years ago, like 27.3 years ago.
And he was hiding.
Yeah.
As a robot.
As like a Port Authority robot. And it would actually just was a Port Authority robot. Balin.
Sounds like a dwarf name.
Yeah, it is Balin.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. I was like, what?
It wasn't.
This is like LOTR. Sorry.
But with robots?
Yeah.
But it was not a combat. It was a combat unit physically, but mentally, it was just a Port Authority robot. And it had been there for like 30 some years.
And it knew all the other robots.
It knew all the other robots. They were all friends with it.
They were all pals.
And somebody found out that it was a combat robot and like sent it like an unlock code to
unlock the combat.
To unlock the combat personality.
And then the combat personality murdered the Balin, like the Port Authority Balin robot. Like it killed the other consciousness. Oh.
And became just the combat unit.
And was just hiding.
And was hiding.
Pretending.
Yeah, and it was able to get into the ship because it went out through the airlock and went around the outside of the ship and came in through the airlock on the ship and killed Lutran. And then just that way, that's why there was no record of anybody going in and out.
Because it used another exit that no one else could use besides
no
robot.
Human could use it. So
right.
Yeah.
And they don't think about how
They don't think
Their
about a
port
robot.
would be actually a combat unit.
Yeah.
Combat units are scary.
Because it's been there for 30 years and it's just been doing its job for 30 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love the final showdown when
Yep. I just read that like 30 minutes ago.
when Murderbot confronts.
Oh my God. And like you could just, yeah.
Yeah,
And they just all come in.
Yeah, and all of the robots that were Balin's friend, they're like, something killed Balin. There's an intruder and it killed Balin. And like they know.
Lolly baby?
Jolly baby.
Jolly baby.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So,
the part in the book where he's like, no. Because the robots got to name themselves, right?
Yeah.
So when he's like, they meet Jolly, but he goes, no.
It's like, that is not its
No,
name.
it didn't. It couldn't have. And it's like,
like
I'm Jolly Baby. And then at the end, when Jolly Baby comes through and is like the speaker for all of them, that just like, I feel like they do the superhero landing, you know? And they just
at first, Murderbot's not sure if they're there for him because it just says intruder is trying to kill Balin or intruders.
And they, and he has to think like, do they mean me?
Yeah, but no, they mean the intruder consciousness, the combat consciousness that killed Balin's consciousness,
right?
And took over the body. And they're like,
and
you killed our
and
friend.
then it just like shuts down.
Yeah, it's like, well, I'm not
gonna just shuts the fuck down.
I know, and Murderbot's like, okay, well, this is emotional right now. Like all these robots
and he turns and faces a wall.
Yeah. They came into its defense because they were all friends.
Yeah.
Because they were all, and
it's moments like that are that is why these books are.
Because Murderbot has been adamant that robots cannot be friends. Robots and constructs, bots in general, cannot be friends because they are always beholden to what a human tells them to do. And he's never had to exist in a society where they are all, not in his estimation, free, but effectively free. Mm-hmm. And it's so hard for it to get past the idea that all of these robots could be friends. It could come to each other's defense, and they owe no one anything.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love them. Jolly baby.
No, it's so cute. And they all send like the feed signifier for a joke. And like, so they all start laughing. And Murderbot's just like, oh my God. Like, this is, I can't, you know what? I'm just going to do my job and get out of here because I can't handle this.
Yeah.
They're all like, hey.
Yeah.
Hi. And Jolly Baby is a giant robot, like a cargo hauler bot.
Yeah, like a huge robot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was like, you know what I'm going to call myself? Jolly Baby.
Yeah.
It's like Little John.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so cute.
It's so cute. And then at the end, we end. Not that we're at the end already, but it was a short little story.
Short book.
It's a very short story.
Yeah, there's a couple other funny moments and some kind of poignant moments, like when Inda confronts him and she's like, just so we get this on the table, did you do this?
Yeah.
And Murderbot's like, how do I play this? I love it. It's like a page and a half of like, do I downplay it? Do I misdirect? How do I answer this? And it's just like, well, I would have made it look like an accident or I would have hidden the body so you never found it.
Yep. Like, I'm just going to, yeah.
Yeah. And Inda's like, where would you have hidden it so we wouldn't find it? And he's like, I can't tell you because then you'll find all the bodies I've hidden.
Right.
And Gwathern's like, it's joking. It's joking. And Rothy's like, stop joking. Like, stop.
I love that they all understand his sense of humor so much and that he is so funny. He's very funny.
And I think it's Rothy's like, why don't you just show them where you were during the hours of the murder?
Yeah, like it's not that hard.
And
just show him the feed.
And Sekiunit's like, oh yeah, I could have done that. Oops. Well, now I'm going to have to make it look like an accident if I ever kill anybody because they're going to be on the lookout for hidden bodies.
I was going to say the way it like just ends is really sweet.
Yeah. And I did like that Balin, I didn't like that Balin was the bad guy, but it was interesting that she used Balin as the bad guy or Balin because Murderbot always gives other bots
beauty.
And yeah, he always gives them the benefit of the doubt. Always.
Mm-hmm.
He generally describes them as benevolent or like they cozy up or they, they speak each other's language. It always assumes that as long as it's not trying to be friends, that it can have a somewhat pleasant interaction with the vast majority of bots.
Right.
And then it gets to Balin And it never even thinks about whether that Ballin could be it. It's just
Yeah.
like, oh God, its job must be so boring.
Right.
I'd hate to be the Port Authority robot that just opens doors and shit. That sucks.
Yeah.
And never is like a bot could do this. It keeps ramping up like the abilities of this superhuman hacker that is somehow like deleting themselves out of footage
Right.
and altering timestamps.
And it's really not that simple.
And-
I mean, it's
and-
really not that hard.
No, and End
Yeah.
is like, oh, okay. Well, I mean, wow, this super hacker's getting way super. Murderbot's like, do you have any better ideas? And it never once considers like the most obvious answer, which is this is a bot that's doing it, another bot.
Yeah. And he probably doesn't want to think it's a bot, too. Like, that's the whole thing, right? That we're trying to build some trust and
Yeah.
that these constructs aren't malicious in
Yeah.
any way. But this one is because it was programmed to be.
Right. Well, and it was the one of the ones that he slotted into. He has like,
Secret combat unit is wild.
yeah, Murderbot has this huge group of like, these are all the bots that I can interact placidly with. Like I can have a conversation. I don't have any ingrained prejudice against the vast majority of bots. But comfort units, fuck comfort units. And combat bots, evil. Hate combat bots.
Evil.
It's all other bots.
Because they're overpowered.
Yeah. It's all other bots, and then it's comfort units and combat units.
Yep.
And I think
Aren't those the other forms of constructs?
those are the other constructs. The
Right.
only ones that he does not immediately give a benefit of the doubt to are the other constructs.
But like robots, we love and like they're cuddly.
yeah, those are fine.
Yeah.
They're fine.
It's
Maybe
the
we
other
can't be friends,
halvesies,
but we can
the
interact.
hybrids that he has a issue with.
Yeah, and it's really
Well, and that makes sense because he's like kind of in the middle of it too. I mean, comfort units are made for comfort.
yeah.
Combats are the murder bots.
Yeah. He's sort of in the middle of the spectrum.
Yeah.
And then on the one end, of course, the comfort units, on the other end are
Yeah.
combat units. And they're all constructs. And it's really notable of Martha Wells that she has given him given Murderbot a very consistent, very believable, very tangible trauma response
Yeah.
that it cannot stand other constructs because it has had to experience so much violence at the hands of other constructs because of human intentions.
Right.
And so they are not benign to him. They are something that can be used against him. They are all weapons, in his opinion, because he's, by implication through a lot of what he says without actually saying it, is he's been on missions where the people he was supposed to be protecting and helping forced the sec units to fight or
Yeah.
had them harm
Like
each other
dogs.
just for fun.
Yep.
And it really can't get over it.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. It
'Cause
also,
it was trapped inside. It was caged.
yeah.
I mean, in essence, like,
Yeah.
and that's why
That's why freedom is such a big deal to it.
Yeah.
It's like, no.
Free bots.
Yeah, no, I can't be free if I have a guardian. I'm just on another mission. I just have
It's
another.
just a different type of cage.
It's just a different kind of cage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although I did like when Pinley makes a crack about, don't worry, I'll make sure there's a thing in your contract about how you can just
Be an asshole.
you can just leave like an asshole whenever you want
And he's
to.
like, it takes one to know one. They have so much respect and love for each other.
I know. There was so much character building and fun character interaction in this whole book.
I know.
And we needed it after the novel because the novel was great, but it was a lot of action.
Yeah.
It was a lot of
It
go,
was
go,
dense.
go.
It was like 4 stories all in one.
And we had so many characters we were juggling. We didn't get a lot of meaningful one-on-one time
Right.
with anybody but like Amina.
Yeah.
And this was good.
The part where Dr. Menza has to get on the phone and like balance teenagers talking. She's talking about her family, right?
Yeah, she's
Okay.
like, I'm scheduled to mediate teenager conversations later today, and
And
I
I
don't
don't-
have time for this.
Yeah, when they're like purposely trying to piss each other off.
Yeah.
And it's really subtle. It's like the way that they're doing it, it's like really passive aggressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's so passive
I know.
aggressive.
Gwathred asks that.
Yeah.
It's like, are you just trying to be passive aggressive? And Murderbot's like, first of all, I resent that implication. Yes, I'm absolutely being passive aggressive.
Yeah.
But you don't need to say it.
Yeah. Yeah. Shh.
I know
Don't
we
tell.
even got like fun. We got everybody. We got
Yeah.
Rothy. The only ones we didn't get were the ones on the planet, and that was like Oversay.
Yeah, but we
And-
got so much of them in the book.
Yeah, I think that's
Well,
why.
these are the ones that we missed.
I think that's why.
Yeah.
I think it was a good touchstone for us. I'm hoping that this was like okay, everybody take a deep breath because shit's about to get crazy again for the next book.
Are we getting a novel next or a novella?
I think it's another novella.
Okay, yeah. This one was super short. They're normally like 6 hours long, and this one was 4.
Because it's pretty simple. It's just a whodunit.
Yeah.
And it's also, it just gives us another glimpse into how he's
Cut.
into how he's maturing as a character.
Look at me like I was such a douchebag.
Matt does that. He gets his glass and he goes, and just
It's kind of like ASMR.
it is. That's what he says too. I know, he sits in that chair. And I was like, see, I got that chair so it wouldn't creak. And he was like, you got this chair for Kate. I was like, so it wouldn't creak because you guys both have the same set of special human skills.
That's true. We wiggle. It's such a good chair. And it's also like a built-in
sensory thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, pet the chair for a little bit.
Oh yeah, I do
Yeah.
it constantly. It feels great. Wait, what are they called? Sensory toys?
Fidget toys.
Fidget. It's a built-in fidget chair.
Yeah.
So I'm like constantly fidgeting.
It's nice.
I love it.
I'm trying to think of what I was going to say. Something about.
Sorry, I ruined it.
No, you didn't
I
ruin
ruined
it.
the whole podcast. I ruined the whole thing.
No, you didn't. I'm just thinking, I don't know. I think I enjoy this one so much because the first novella felt standalone and it was great.
Yeah.
But it wasn't because in the second and third one, it's a continuation of the same storyline.
Yeah.
And then we get the novel because kind of the third novella wraps up that storyline. And then we get the novel, which is a complete storyline in and of itself. And then we get this book, which is for this novella, which is very standalone.
Yep.
And it is really just like a
Cute and quaint, and we get more sweet little robots.
This felt like a gift. This felt like a
luxury.
I know
Yeah.
what you guys want, which is Mensa and Murderbot together.
Yep.
And you want all
Sweet
of his little buddies.
Little robots. I love them.
Including Goathrin.
I think it's like, okay, name your top 5. I don't know if I can name that many. Top 3 best robots in order.
In the whole...
All of it.
All of
Since
it?
we're like kind of reaching the end of our Murderbot series
Do we
for a while.
include or do we exclude Murderbot?
Yeah, Murderbot. He's not. He's our main guy.
Yeah.
Everyone else,
Yeah.
are separate, but in order.
Because we got Art.
Okay, Art's number 1, no matter
Obviously.
what. Art number
Art
1.
just-
Number 1.
In exclusion of Murderbot, we'll just put it at top. Like
Yeah.
Not a number, just up at the top.
Yeah.
And then Art. And then Mickey.
Oh, okay. We have the same answers. And
And
then
then Mickey's so sweet.
and then Charlie.
You're like, and then I'm just gonna put Jolly Baby out there.
He's
you know, Martha was like,
Yeah.
like,
Jolly Baby. He's
what am I
gonna
gonna
hate
name
that.
this?
Yeah.
Yes, she knows Murderbot so well, and she can push its buttons so well, and she's
She's like, what
these
name would he
characters-
hate more than anything?
And she creates these characters that are like a wedge, and they just find all of the things that it's lying to itself about. And she just drives the character right in
Yeah,
there.
Mickey and Jolly Baby are very similar.
And really is really forcing Murderbot. I mean, these books are kind of about the exterior plot. Kind of.
Yeah, but not
But
ever really. Like, I don't ever feel like I have to really understand what's going on.
Right. There's a reason you can thoroughly enjoy this novella and have absolutely no fucking clue about what really happened.
Yeah.
Because the real strength, I mean, all of it's great, but the real strength is how well she knows this character.
No, and that is what I have taken from the series. It
Yeah.
isn't even about the story. I think we've talked about each and every podcast. Like, I kind of understand what's happening, but I'm not reading these series and I'm not connecting to these stories because of the intricate,
Sci-fi.
technological driven sci-fi piece of it. I love the characters. I love how, like you said, how thorough, like it's like she just went to this other world and started
writing,
reporting back about it.
Yeah, because they feel like real people. They all feel like different people. They don't feel like perfect people. They all have their own, like, they feel complete. They don't feel like character,
like I love
archetypes.
That Rati doesn't have boundaries.
Yeah.
Like, he cannot stand not asking. Rati feels a lot like me. Like,
gotta call out the elephant in the room.
Like, he sees it happening and he just cannot not talk about, like, are you okay, man?
Yeah.
And he's like, what are you talking about? Stop talking to me.
Yeah.
I'm going to go stand in the corner.
That's what she knows.
And then Dr. B, she's like, you need to shut up and let him, like, she's our psychologist.
Yeah.
Our counselor is doing a documentary.
Quote unquote.
Quote unquote. Yeah. When he said he's like, I've been with her like 5 or 6 times. I was like, yo, he's been going to therapy.
Yeah. And we've had glimpses of it before where they're like, this is from a session with her.
Yeah.
With Dr. B. And that's the one where we find out it's always redacting the name of the company. That people are actually saying the name of the company, and it's always going back in and being like, company every time they say it.
Yeah. Like, why are you doing that?
And they're like, you just did it. Why did you do that? And then there's a reference to the fact that it has like logos on its parts that are unremovable. So it is branded with the company's logo forever. It can't remove them.
Sorry.
Whether you're like looking at me and texting at the same time.
Correctly, too.
Like, and I'm damn good at it.
I'm an incredible texter. Yeah, I've been that way for a long time. I had a BlackBerry before an iPhone, so I was QWERTYing it up.
Nice.
I like had competitions for texting.
That's impressive.
Thank you. But you can read fast. It's fine. We all have our things.
You did not mention that in the last podcast.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Damn. I mentioned it this time.
Yeah, you did. You're like, I caught up. It's fine.
Yeah.
I got it.
Wait, I didn't mention it last time? Damn.
Oh, that's what I was going to talk about. This is a good contrast to our previous book. So, City of Nightmares, we had an extremely unreliable narrator.
Oh, like, yeah, that's what I was saying. Like,
yeah. So you can see the importance of a consistent viewpoint. If you're going to give me one narrator, you got to fucking nail that character.
Right.
And Martha Wells is like...
She built a world, and I feel like we get to go visit it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, our friend Rebecca, she's trying, she's learning. Maybe she's a newer writer, and she's figuring it out. I love what you said. Did you say that on the pod, or was that afterwards? Where you said that you told me in real life.
Yeah, I was reading some reviews.
You were on Goodreads.
Yeah, about Rebecca Schaeffer.
You sent it as a text, yeah.
Yeah, and they were saying that previous books were better, and so they were wondering, like, what happened to her editor?
Did she fire her editor?
Because you said that. You said it felt like she fired her editor.
I said it felt like nobody edited it. Like, nobody pointed out the inconsistencies. Like, why are you talking about people's race here and not here? And, like, why is it like this here and not here? Like, it was very jarring. Like, what is happening? Yeah. But this is beautiful, and I can tell. So, like I can read
masterclass.
I can read this and go, oh, this is what it looks like. Like, this is what writing looks like.
And she is not giving you the description you think you are. Like, if you sit down and actually read her descriptions, it's all super broad stroke. Like the feed, we never describe how they're actually interacting with the feed. Is it verbal?
But I know it. In my brain, I have it.
Right. But she never says, is it verbal? Is it text? Because every once in a while, it'll be like, oh, they sent a joke signifier. Okay, well, is it text then? Because you're not hearing their voice. You're not hearing the intonation.
But then sometimes people are sub-vocalizing.
Yeah. So, but that's what I'm saying is you build so much of the world yourself because she's very, very good at giving you just enough that you get to picture it. And then you can picture more of the details than she could ever tell you.
Yeah.
And so describing the setting never feels clunky.
Yeah. That's true. And I have like this whole, but I also, the world that I see is very similar to other sci-fi worlds I've been in. Yeah. But it's just enough. Like, what was that? Did you watch it? It was on Netflix. It had Joel Kinnaman in it. And then the second season, it had Anthony Mackie in it. It's like super sci-fi. Altered Carbon.
Matt read it and watched it.
Yeah, I watched it. I thought it was cool. It got canceled for the 3rd season, but it was a really cool. But like that gave such a cool sci-fi. So I think I picture a lot of, especially the like corporate area.
Yeah.
What's it called? corporate
rim.
Yeah,
Corporation rim.
That like this. Anytime it talks about advertising and how like the ads pop up in front of you and the hollows and like
it's a similar world, very
Blade Runner
dystopian future,
but then
of
preservation,
like corporation dystopia.
Preservation is so minimalist.
Yeah,
it's like actually like a real just green.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hippie commune.
It's a hippie commune that works.
Yes, that worked.
It's small enough. Yeah.
It's good. I was like, oh yeah. So there's like that part in they go to the, food court.
Yeah.
To meet with Inda, because it's like a benign setting for everybody.
Right.
And it describes that they're sitting at this place and it's called Starchy Foods.
Oh yeah.
3 exclamation marks.
With little things, like little pictures of things on it. Like,
yeah.
That he's like, I imagine those are the starchy foods.
That must be starchy food.
They must be French fries.
It's like, I don't know, whatever those are. It's like a fry booth.
Yeah, it's a fry booth.
Right. And so the actual description that she gives is extremely minimal. We find out the name, which is Starchy Foods with 3 exclamation marks, and that there's like little flashing pictures. But you immediately get the idea of like, it's probably like a neon sign. And there's
it's
like
got,
a counter.
You know what colors it was in my brain? Red and yellow.
Yeah.
And it was just like a little McDonald's.
Right.
But it was called Starchy Foods.
And it was an extremely broad stroke description.
Yeah, like I had a whole picture of it.
And this is something that really, really good writers can do, is they don't need to walk you step by step through a world. They have set up such a complete world that when you get to this point, they can give you a couple of hints and you can just aesthetically match all of it, whatever, and drop it into the world you have created from their description that they've given you, and it feels complete. And the way I envision Starchy Foods and the way you envision Starchy Foods may be 2 entirely different things, because she hasn't limited us in what we can picture in our minds. So you can pick the whatever sci-fi fits for you, whatever aesthetic fits for you, and you can take her descriptions and apply it to it.
But I never feel like anything's lacking.
No, you don't, because that's when a writer is really, really good. They don't need so much description that it takes you out of it. Like Tolkien, for example. Those books are great. I'm not saying they're not. I love them.
You better be careful here.
But that man can describe a tree for fucking ever. And I'm not saying they're not great.
Oh, I'm not.
They are benchmark. Okay.
They're not a book I can reread all the time.
No, but they feel meaty because you have to wade through that description.
You worked through that book. Yeah.
He had a world that he wanted you to see. And he needed you to see it exactly the way he saw it.
But he was also writing for the sake of writing.
Yeah. Yes.
Like his goal, his goal was to build a universe.
Yeah.
And also in a very literary way.
Right. Because
I feel
he needed you to see this world because he was creating a very specific world.
Yeah.
Martha Wells is creating very specific characters.
Right.
And she needs you to see these characters the way they are, but the world is incidental.
Right.
And she gives you, it doesn't feel like City of Nightmares where you got so little, you had nothing to fill it in. It felt like it was all happening in like space because she didn't give you enough setting description that you could picture anything.
Yeah.
But she gives you enough, but she doesn't overdo it. She really lets you steep in the character interactions. And that's what I think I love most about her writing is you never feel like, oh my God, I can't listen. Like I have no idea what art looks like on the outside. We don't
know what art looks like at all.
No.
Does he even have a body?
No, like Art's ship. We know that Murderbot recognized Art's ship. And it's like, I recognize it's a familiar form. You have a picture.
Yeah, I have a picture.
Because Martha Wells is really good at that. She's created such a solid world.
Yeah.
You have absolutely no problem dropping something that feels aesthetically right into that world. And the way you picture art and the way I picture art might be 2 different things. And it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because what matters is what we do on art and what we do with art.
Right.
Not what art looks like.
Right.
Which is what I really like.
Yeah. I totally love that.
I love her writing so well.
I'm so glad that you're good at talking about stuff like that. Because I love listening to it, but I also could not say that.
Parse that out. Now you'll see it.
And I do. And I think that's one of the reasons I'm enjoying this so much and enjoying you bringing books to the table that I normally wouldn't read because I know it's like I know that something is happening. I know that there's a thing about this that I like.
Yeah.
But I have no idea how to tell you what it is. And so that's what I'm really enjoying.
You just don't have the language yet.
I know, and as soon as I do, but I have the language about some things, just not all things.
Right.
But that's what I'm really loving about doing this with you, is that I'm learning more. Oh, this is what this means. Like in Crescent City, when there is an actual rifle on the wall.
You're like, check off
rifle. It's right there. It's been there the whole time. Like it's like she's like laughing at us. Yeah. She's like trolling us. We're all laughing together, but it's actually a gun on a wall.
Yeah.
When I read that, like the second read through, I was like, oh my God, I know this now. I know this. So yeah, I love that. But that's what I really enjoyed about doing this with you, is like having more insight into like the writing versus just the characterizations and the plot lines and the blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Should we read Sanderson at some point? No, you don't want to do those.
Let's get through Thrown a Glass.
I know. I don't think we should do Cosmere. I think it would be.
I don't want to do Brandon Sanderson.
Yeah, I knew you did it. And I'm okay with that.
He's got what we could do. Elantris. Have you ever read Elantris? Yeah. Elantris is good, and that's his first book.
It is. We could do that one,
and it's standalone.
And that one doesn't get as much attention as like
his other stuff,
right? Which I would rather listen to pods about that. I don't want to. It's so big.
I liked Elantris. I read Mistborn too, and it was okay. But
I read Mistborn. I've read that trilogy.
Yeah.
Ugh. I loved it. Like it was great. I think about it. I want to revisit that world. And spoiler alert, if you haven't read any of the Mistborn books, skip ahead 15 seconds, but the way it ends pisses me off, and that's fine. I'm not about that life.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's why sometimes I have to wait for it to end. Because if it's not going to end the way I want it to end, no, fuck right off. I'm not going to invest any more moments in this.
Yeah, I do not want to be that sad at the end of a book.
No.
Fuck off. Yeah. Okay.
It's just, no. No, maybe we could do something really light. We'll do some reverse harem. That's what we'll do.
Oh my God. Hell yeah.
Yeah. We'll just dive headfirst into some spice for a little while.
Yeah. I think we should do some spice. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So we'll do Thrown a Glass, and then we'll do some palate cleansers where there's more sex than plot.
Yeah.
And then we'll come back.
Just something a little heavier. And by that point, it might be the end of the year. Because, if we do Thrown a Glass bi-weekly, it really will be. That'll be 4 months. But it'll be cool because we're going to also read the trilogy, or the
Serpent
sequel.
and the Wings of Night.
Yeah. You killed it.
Thanks.
You did so good. Bye.
No.
Cassandra Broadbent.
Cassandra Broadbent. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because
and that's,
the cover is really curly.
Like it's hard to
really
remember
curly,
it.
So it's hard to remember it.
The Kindle keeps asking me to pre-order it, and it's only going to be $4.99.
Aw.
I think it's on because that book was on.
Girl, don't undervalue yourself. It could be $6.99.
Girl, it'd be $19.99. I'd buy for it.
I'd buy for it.
I would buy for it. The Ashes. Wait, this one's curly too. Girl, you gotta. Oh, Carissa, not Cassandra. Carissa Broadbent. We love you and respect you. I'm sorry we get your name wrong.
I knew because it reminded me of Clarissa Explains It All, but I knew it wasn't.
But I always say Cassandra because it's Cassandra Clare.
Yeah.
Who did the Shadow Hunters? Did you read any of those?
Mm-mm.
We don't have to read Shadow Hunters.
They're YA, aren't they?
They are YA, and I read them all. And there's
have
a
to,
lot of books.
I have to gear myself up for YA. I have to be ready to dive into teenagers.
I agree. Oh. And I don't know if this is the right show to talk about this, but it's something I've been putting I haven't been putting thought in. It comes up in my brain often.
Yeah.
We were really hard on the ages in A Court of Thorn and Roses. And I feel like we need to really step back and remember that in that, we cannot judge their ages.
Right.
Based on today's standards. It's more like the ages in the Middle Ages.
Right. You're going to die at 35, 18,
so
middle-aged.
14 is like almost adulthood.
Yeah.
So when Farrah started at 14, like, so by the time she's 19,
So we were giving her too much benefit
she
of the
could
doubt.
have actually been a battle-worn.
Battle-hardened.
Battle-worn, worn and torn. Battle-hardened. You know what I mean?
Especially since her sisters were at home whining instead of going out and helping her.
Right. And I just think that what's really funny and why I kept thinking about it is because, you know, I reread Crescent City, and Crescent City takes place in more of like our world and in like modern day. Like they have all the same technologies and stuff.
Oh.
And like Bryce, our main character, is older. She's like 26.
Oh, okay.
And I saw what she was doing there.
Yeah.
And when you think about like this world versus that world, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, okay.
Maturity-wise, we're about the same. Age-wise, we're a little different. I got you.
Yeah. So I just feel like we were really hard.
I was thinking about that in Throne of Glass because the main character is 18.
18. But when you learn, you finished it? Okay,
Yeah.
we're not going to talk about it. Sorry.
No.
But she's a lot older because
that-
she's lived through some shit.
Right. But at first, when they were like, she's the best.
17. She was like
The
7.
best assassin ever and the most accomplished assassin and famous and queen of the underworld. Oh, and she's 18. I was like, fuck right off.
Yeah.
And then I was
but
like,
you got to think of her more as like 26,
like, okay. I was
27.
Like, okay, I got it. So I was like, okay.
Because-
I thought about the same exact thing. Was like, this is a world where it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
And we don't have the same level of care, and we don't even have magical
We don't-
healing
we
that
do
can
not
put
get-
our ribbons back together.
And we do not get to be children till we're 12.
She used ribbons, torn to ribbons, in Throne of Glass.
Oh, shit.
And I was like,
hold up. She'll use it
like,
over and over and over and
please
over
write
again.
that down on a card. Put that up next to your computer when you're writing. And every time you feel like writing it, look at the card and think,
Don't say that.
don't do it. Find another way.
But also at this point, I'm like, yes, let's go.
Like ribbons? Fuck yes.
Yeah, let's go. Torn to shred, shredded to ribbons. Yeah. Yeah. But you'll see. I just feel like you and me could just be a little less hard on the teenagers.
Okay, I hear
in
you.
those two books.
I hear you.
But I agree. I think that, like what you're saying, young adult books in some worlds, like they are kids.
Yeah.
But in some worlds, people get old really fast.
It's okay because they're not set in high school. I just need to remember, like,
Yeah.
when they're in high school,
It's not the same
it's
world.
so hard.
Yeah.
But they're not in high school. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's fine. I
They
know.
don't even have high school. They don't have public education
No.
in these books.
No.
I mean, it's like the medieval
Yeah, it's our standard fantasy.
medieval times.
It's our standard fantasy time
And their
period.
years could be longer. It's a different world, a different universe.
You're like, please, please, please.
Yeah, I've been
Please.
giving it a lot of benefit of the doubt lately.
Okay. I mean, I'll try. I'm trying. We
Yeah.
tried. We did. Every time I mentioned it, you were like, let's all remember she was 18. Like, please.
Well,
Just-
and I just, yeah, and that's right. I was giving him a hard time too because, but we, the day cycles could be longer.
yeah.
Like the years could be longer. They could be a lot older, so I think reading through Throne of Glass, we need to try and not be like, but that bitch is 17 years old. Because she's like a 45-year-old
Yeah.
in what she's had to live through.
Yeah, what she's had to go through.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do we want to wrap this up? Because I want to talk to you about some stuff, but I'm not sure it should be on the podcast.
Well, we are up to like 85 Instagram followers.
Holy shit.
I don't know what happened this week, but we got like 20 followers.
Probably because you're killing it at your content.
Because in our last book talk, we had 63 because I made a crack about 63. And now we're up to like 85. So I don't know what happened, but welcome, new friends.
Hell yeah, it's nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you.
I'm Kate.
I'm like
This
so
is
close
Rachel.
to 3 digits.
Oh my God. It's because you're crushing the gram.
I even posted a reel the other day.
It was awesome. I saw it. I
you.
liked it. I loved it.
Thank you.
I love that
Appreciate it.
shit.
And I was, so join the Instagram if you haven't already. It's at Strange and Beautiful Book Club. And we got a Patreon this week.
Shut up. A stranger?
Somebody I do not know joined the Patreon.
Whoever you are special and you
Yeah.
are loved.
They're supposed to get a shout out. That's the tier they joined. So I'm going to shout them out. But I need to look up their name. And I'm not going to do their last name because
because that just seems like not nice.
That feels odd to me, and I didn't specifically get
No
permission.
one knows our last names, probably.
Anyway, it's Meg. Hi, Meg.
Hey, Meg.
Welcome to the Patreon.
I bet you're great.
I know. We're so glad to have you here.
Yeah. We're going to call you Jolly Baby Meg.
Let's not.
We're going to give her a sweet little nickname.
But if you also...
Mickey Meg.
If you also want to get a little love on the podcast, feel free to go over, join the Patreon. I think I've said it the last couple of pods, but I mean it, because we have like 3 different podcasts, so not everybody listens to all of them.
Yeah.
Because we have like movie, TV, and books.
Yeah, dude. You've been crushing the movies. I got to get in on some of those movies.
You need to watch... Have you watched The Fountain?
Oh, you're doing The Fountain?
I did The Fountain. We did The Fountain. It's up now.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll listen to it. I've watched it. I remember you guys saying. Aronofsky, is that who did that one?
And we didn't go through the synopsis. We tried doing something where we just sat down and talked about it, because The Fountain especially, you can't really go through beat by beat.
It's like doing Memento. No, don't do it.
No.
I hear you. Yeah. But I definitely want to get on some of the old school fantasy stuff.
Yeah.
Like Krull.
I'll holler at you. Holla at you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But
Edge of Tomorrow. You know I'm obsessed. And I'm reading that book.
Edge of Tomorrow, the book.
Yeah. I love that movie. Remember, I don't know if I said this on the pod last time, but I am obsessed.
You said you've watched it like 4 times since it came on HBO Max.
Yeah. I'm like, I just want to watch Emily Blunt again.
Yeah, you're like, you know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to watch Edge of Tomorrow.
I just love it so much.
It's good. But this is me saying, go join the Patreon. We want you there. Come join us. Talk to us. Be part of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a $1 tier, which Patreon was like, don't have a $1 tier. And I was like, Patreon, I do what I want. Have you seen my Instagram? I do what I want.
I do what I want.
I do what I want.
Your trends mean nothing to me.
Only because I'm totally unaware of them.
Yeah, I just don't know. But you know what I mean? On Patreon, like $1's great.
Yeah.
If you had like 4,000 people give you $1 every month.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. That's the point of Patreon. But
when do I start getting paid? I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
I'm sorry. I thought this was a volunteer.
It is.
I'm going to buy you the book that Penny wants to cover.
You don't have to buy that book. Dude, I can get it from the library.
Okay.
Let me get it at the library.
All right. So we are going to create not a new one, but we're going to do a podcast with my daughter. I think I'm going to do it as a Patreon exclusive.
Oh, that'll be great.
So that's another good reason to go on and join the Patreon, because you'll get to hear Penny talk about her favorite book, because she reads more than I do. And I'm happy to have her come and talk.
Really sweet and very funny and very articulate for a 9-year-old.
She has her Kindle, so she has a kid's Kindle, and it tracks her hours. And she's like, I just won the Super Bookworm Award, and it's for reading more than 10,000 pages or more than 1,000 hours on her Kindle.
Yeah, she was trying to give me shit for not having any accolades, and I was like, I'm pretty sure I do. I just don't know where they are. She's like, you don't. And then while I was asleep, she tried to add like 5 different apps. She's so sneaky. She's so sneaky. She said, is this 2-ply or 1-ply? And I was like, I don't know. Oh, it's 2-ply. This is okay. And I was like, okay, Penny.
I love Penny. And she probably just gave you that look like, oh, I'm sorry. Was I not supposed to put 5 apps on your Kindle while you were sleeping?
Why? Yeah.
Oh,
let's get these, when we were going through the grocery stores, let's get these donuts for Dad tomorrow. And I was like,
yeah. Penny definitely lives by the everything not expressly prohibited is permitted rule of life.
So do I, and that is exhausting once you get into adult world. It's like you have to make the mistake to learn.
Say, yeah.
You have to make the mistake to learn, and that gets exhausting as you get older. So at one point in life, hopefully she learns that there are other people who know better.
Yeah.
Because it really does boil down to, I know better.
Yeah.
Until if I don't know it, then it's not.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
God,
anyway. We'll let the listeners go. We'll just let them go. I'm sorry, guys. We love you.
Love you. Thank you.
Until next time.
Appreciate you.
Bye, friends.
Bye, Meg. See you later.